fix this. How are we all doing? How are we all doing? Welcome back to my channel. We're live. So if you see me talking to myself, I'm not going crazy. Where are you? You should be here with us. But I'm here on a Tuesday and a Thursday, 8 o'clock every week. Now, normally on Tuesdays are a request night, but I found this one. I really wanted to do it for everyone. So I'm doing this. And then Thursdays are normally my story, but it seems like I'm taking 2 this week. So I'm a little bit naughty. But I am a couple of minutes late. So I'm just going to wait to see if anyone's joining us. I hope they are. They're normally here by now. But there she is. Hello. Sorry I was a couple of minutes late, sis. How are we? A nightmare trying to set me thing up. So I was wobbling all over the shop. How are we? If you'd like to join my Patreon, it's patreon.com/JessRose5472. I sometimes put some pictures in there and stuff like that. Yeah, it'd be lovely you could join. Oh, I'm glad you're good, sis. Glad you're good. I know I was a bit late, so I hope everyone knows I'm coming. Hope that I need a couple of minutes though. Here he is. Hey Phil, how are we? We okay? It's Tuesday. How are we? How are we doing? I was hoping my arm would be fixed for you all today, but no. Went to the doctors and apparently he was only calling me to see me, even though he's done the needle before and he knows what's wrong with me. So I still have my odd growth thing here going on. And it's very sore. It's really sore. But onwards and upwards. Onwards and upwards. I know. I went to see him thinking it'd be for my needs, and it was just to basically go, oh, okay then, twist my arm and then be like, I'll see you in a few weeks. Well, in fact, it's nearly a month away. It's actually after my holiday. You can't see me till. So I called him yesterday to see if I could get in. He's gone away for a month. He's on his jollies. So don't know what to do. So never mind. These are the things. Have any of you heard of this one? Have you heard of this story? Ooh, I don't know if you have. I think I might have found another one you might not know of, but let me know. Let me know if you know this one. I'm good, Phil. If you're asking me, yeah, I'm good. Thank you. How are you? How was your weekend? Did you do anything nice? Oh, so you don't know this one? Excellent. We have one that doesn't know it. Excellent. With my poorly arm. Just hang on a couple of minutes. Where's Warwick? Warwick's late. Warwick's normally beating you, any sis? Warwick's not here, or Sharon, or Kelly, or Natalie. But it's okay. If it's just me, you and Phil, it's me, you and Phil. We'll hold the team down. We can do this. Just checking you can see my thing in the background. Just checking. Had a complete nightmare. Here she is. Hey, Hayley. Oh, do you know what? I'm terrible. I was going, there's no so-and-so. I always miss someone out. And do you know what it is? I always miss someone who I wouldn't expect to miss. So I'm ever so sorry, Hayley. If you watch that back, she'll be there. Look, didn't notice I wasn't there now. So I'm very sorry. I would have noticed quite quickly, I think. How are we? Have you not heard of this one? Excellent. 2 down that haven't heard of it. Excellent. What about you, Hayley? Have you heard of this one? I like to bring you ones that you don't know of. I don't know why I'm getting excited. It's absolutely horrific. It's awful. Did you? Do you know I don't see them until afterwards? Oh, we got Hayley 3 for 0. Is that what you say? 3 for 0? 3 for 0? 3 for... I know it's 3-0, but 0 for 3? Something like that. But seems like I'm getting you all. What's going on with my hair this evening? But yeah, it's actually, I'll just give you a little bit of background on it. I watched a film, God, a couple of years ago now. And I'd heard about the film because I'd seen trailers of it. But I will, Hayley, it's your birthday. It's your, yes, it is. You said, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. God, that voice is chronic, isn't it? Miss Hayley, happy birthday to you. Yay! Do you know what? If you've any of you have got birthdays, I'll do it. I'll be your sing request. See how amazing my voice is. I'm like an angel. I sing like an angel. See, I told you it was beautiful. I says like an angel. Yay! Have you done anything nice today, Hayley? Have you been up to anything? Oh, how exciting birthday. Am I allowed to ask which birthday it is? Hey, Natalie, how you doing? You just missed my angel voice singing happy birthday to Hayley. Are you 40? No. I had you still in your 30s, Hayley. Have you told me that? Because, do you know what? Me and Hayley were only discussing the other day that, yes, I am definitely Tiffany's sister because I forget a lot and I jump ahead of things. So I'm thinking, did I know? But I don't think I did. I know. I've always thought definitely in your 30s. Never thought for a second you'd even hit 40. Oh, is he? Oh, happy birthday to your nephew. Do you want me to sing for him? I've got an amazing voice. I told you, like an angel. What's a good angel? What's a good singer? No, not a person. Like a bird. I sing like a bird. I don't even know if that's a thing either. That's crazy. That probably might not even. Yeah, birds sing. Birds sing beautiful. Yeah, I sing like a bird. That's who I am. It's so sad. It's so sad. Tiffany and Hayley, Phil and Natalie can be witnesses to just how beautiful my singing voice really is. My favourite song to sing on a karaoke, believe it or not, is Paradise by the Dashboard Light by Meatloaf and the other lady. That's who I am. And it's always in a duet. And of course, it's a male and a female part. And I know the male part really well as well. And I'd like to do that one because the female part is just so high pitched. Hate to be a part. Oh, look at you. Look at you. I knew you'd know it. I knew you'd know it. How are you, Phil? I was wondering where you was. Do you know what? I smashed it on the karaoke too. Warwick, you missed my singing. I just sang for Hayley like the angel bird that I am. You just missed it. And I was saying that my karaoke song is Paradise by the Dashboard Light by Meatloaf. I'm fabulous. Fabulous. The pub just gets very excited when that song comes on because not only is it 7 minutes long, they have me for the majority of it. Absolute, just amazing. Just what is it where you can just propel your voice? It's great. It's genuinely not. It's cringeworthy. But if I've had a drink, I'm going with it. I'm happy to go with it. So there we go. So if you ever want a happy birthday sung to you all, I can do this. I do requests. If you don't want a story told, I can just sing you a song. I can do this. I'm so sad. I'm such a loser. Anyway, so Warwick knows this one. Yes, and apparently that's why Phil doesn't go camping. I assume after this, no one will ever go camping again, ever. But it's an awful story. Warwick, I was amazing. You'll have to watch it back afterwards. You'll have to watch it back. It was just, you'd have to clip it and just put it on the TikTok. Put it on there. And you're just going to be like, what? So, no, absolutely not. He does know it. He does. No, okay. So let me give you a bit of a background of why I know about this story. Um, I did you see Cruel Summer? Is it Cruel? Is that the what? Is that what you saw? Okay, right. That's the background I have now. It's a film called Cruel Summer. All right. Now the director of this film wanted to put across as much to anyone who'd listen that it's not based on this story, Terry Hurst. You watch the film, you're gonna know. Of course it is. Of course it is. Now, there's a lot of things with regards to. Do you know what, Hayley? Watch it. Watch it. It's listen to the story first to see if you want to watch it. Just listen to the story first. But the film. Oh, sorry, sorry. Oh, you saw me singing. Sorry, Warwick. Sorry. Yeah. Oh, you saw it. So you were amazed. Look at that. You're just still gobsmacked, aren't you? But yeah, with regards to the film, um, there are some things with regards to motive in the film. And if you've watched it, you might be a little bit confused as to what I'm talking about. It's that what goes on in the film is fictional. From what's been said, there's absolutely no proof that that is or was the motive to what happens. And I'll explain it more at the end. I'm not going to say now because it won't make sense, but I'll explain at the end what I'm talking about. But yes, the film, if you have seen it, is very brutal. Definitely, I definitely recommend it as I don't know, would I even say I recommend it? It's brutal. It's absolutely brutal. It's awful film. So okay, let's begin. It's the brutal and cruel Terry Hurst story, as I said. Now, I'd seen that film, like I said. Now, when I watched the film, I of course went away and tried to find more details on the case, because of course all the characters in said film, they're different names, different places, things like that. So I went away to try and find, is this real? I need to. And I really, really struggled. This was a couple of years ago. So, of course, after a certain amount of time, I'm like, right, okay, I'll wait and see if ever see anything else. And I came away from it. Well, happened to come across something today. And it's actually another creator. I don't know how it works on YouTube though, if I'm allowed to mention creators, no? I don't know. Let me just say it's another creator. I don't know what the rules are, but I came across him and I was like, ooh, there's got to be stuff out there now then. So I went away. And yes, there are bits out there, but you've got to be very careful because they contradict each other. I think what I'm trying to say is there's just basically not a lot out there about this poor boy. And it's really, really sad that there's not, and it wasn't covered more. And more to the point, the reason I haven't put this case down, because he is a vulnerable teenager. The reason I haven't put it down in the normal way, I would say disability mate crime, the reason I haven't put it under that is these didn't even pretend to be his friends. In the other cases I've done, oh, there's so many. I always go back to Gemma Hayes, Ali Irving. At least, not at least, but the people in those cases, they pretended to be their friends, and it went horribly, horribly wrong, and they were vile people. But this wasn't even that. It just awful. Yes, so let me say, his name's Terry Lee Hurst. He was born in 1997. He had autism. And at the point where we're going to get to in the story, he will be 17 with a mental age of 13. Okay, slight speech impediment. And we'll get to that point, but let me just give you a bit of a backstory on him. Because I born in 97. The reason it's so vague is it said that it's very sad, he'd actually got abandoned at about the age of 20 months. But he was fostered by a couple called Audrey and Roy Hurst, who then went on, they are his parents. So we're going to basically say Audrey and Roy Hurst are his parents, okay? They loved him very, very much. Now, the thing with Terry, he was a very kind, very happy, very friendly boy. But he was quite shy, and unfortunately, as we know with school, he was bullied incessantly through school. Incessantly is the word, isn't it? Throughout his school life. And it was the age-old story with these cases, just people just taking advantage of a vulnerable lad. That's what it was, right back to school. And even though these things were going on, he still tried to stay upbeat. He was still very friendly, which is sad. It's really, really sad. He went on to Sheffield College, which is apparently this place takes teenagers 16 and above, where he went on to become quite outgoing and vibrant and stuff. The people of where he lived, now sorry I haven't said, this is in Sheffield in the UK, sorry, and the time where they lived, it was said that people knew him. He was just a really nice lad. He was just, he couldn't do enough for you. He was very involved with his local church. He was just a good lad. And what it was is because his parents would always try and protect him from just vile people out there, when he would get taken advantage of once he'd got to this age, he wouldn't tell them. He wouldn't even tell them. Apparently, yeah, it was obviously found out after the fact, but it was they'd take his money off him, any money he had, they'd just pick on him, bully him, pretend to be his friend, and they wouldn't. Just very teenagery, just vile people, really, that he would come into contact with. Now his parents, who you would only want to protect him, wouldn't you? That's all you'd want to do. But he was getting older, and he turned 17, and he wanted some freedom. Oh, it's just so sad. So he moves to an accommodation for young people in Penny, excuse me, Peninsula, Sheffield. I don't think I pronounced that right, but Peninsula, Sheffield. And the one thing about Terry is he loved the outdoors. He loved camping and fishing. That was his kind of thing. It was obviously, it meant it was peace. Obviously, with autism, he didn't want loud, crowds, loud noises and everything else. And you could imagine camping out in the countryside and, out in the open, it would be very peaceful for him. So I understand why he really enjoyed that. So that was what he would do up to the point we're going to get to. Okay. Now, let me introduce you to three other people we're going to talk about in this story. You can already hear my tone, can't you? You can already hear it. I don't actually mean to do this. I don't mean to do it. It just happens. Okay, so it's coming up to, so we come to a girl, like I went to say lady. Okay, Rebecca Peters. Now, Rebecca Peters, at the point we are, so at this point, Terry's 17, okay? Rebecca Peters is 15. We haven't got to it yet, but just to let you know, we're in 2004. That's where this whole story is going to be based. So now, this is what I'm talking about the mismatch of information. In some reports, it says that she also went to Sheffield College, but as I said, and from what I've heard today, that college is for people 16 and above. The girl's 15, so it's did she or did it? It's not really relevant, but it would point to how her and Terry came into contact with each other. Now Rebecca, rotten. At this age, when I say she's rotten, all three of these people I'm going to tell you, we haven't got an immense amount of information as a backstory for these three. I believe when I tell you at the end, that could be why we haven't heard, but it was said that she drank a lot. This girl did. She's 15, but she drank really heavily. And when she'd drink, she'd become really just unruly, quite violent. She was always fighting with alcohol and everything else. She's quite a disturbed young girl. So this is Rebecca, okay? Let me introduce you to somebody else. John Sorden. The three, let's say. Okay, now John Sorden's 17. John did go to Sheffield College, where he would have been aware of Terry. Terry would have been aware of him. They were not friends. There is, like I say, a lot of reports out there saying friends. They weren't friends. Let me say that. These weren't friends. So, like I say, he went to Sheffield College. He was known and he'd been picked up for petty theft, that kind of thing. But he was behind the scenes, which he hadn't never been charged for, but he was a violent little bully, this fella. He was with a girl at this point. The girl's name has also been hidden. We don't know her name. But the girl he was with, okay, this is quite an important piece of information, I believe. His current girlfriend at that time had previously gone out with Terry. Okay. So Terry, the lad we were talking about, Terry Hurst, he'd gone out with this girl quite a bit beforehand. And then when they finished, her and John started a relationship. Okay. Well, John was a very possessive, controlling, jealous little piece of work, right? And basically her family, it is believed, seen this in him and they didn't want her around him, to the point where he started threatening to petrol bomb their house. This is the nice fella he is, you say. So just an awful, awful lad. He was aware that this girlfriend had previously gone out with Terry. Now, judging on Terry and what I've described to you, and at this point he'd also be 17, so him and John are the same age. But remember, Terry has a mental age of 13. So the relationship we're talking about, the boyfriend and girlfriend we're talking about, wouldn't have been particularly serious. It would have been quite a light relationship. So where this fascination started to build with John against Terry, I don't know. And all I can imagine is it comes from sorry, sorry, someone called me up. Yeah, I've just got completely sidetracked. I'm ever so sorry. Sorry, Phil, did I miss something? I'm so sorry. I'm sorry if you're watching tomorrow. Just got completely sidetracked. Sorry, Phil, if I've just jumped into something there. I just thought I've missed something. I've gone red. I've actually gone red. Okay. So I don't know why he became so obsessed with Terry. But this is who he is, this possession and jealousy and everything else. So it was said that he became quite violent with this girlfriend and it was said that he'd ask her questions like, what was he like? Just one of these very jealous, controlling, you shouldn't have ever been with someone before me kind of attitude. So that's kind of what I'm getting from that relationship. I'm sorry, it sounds a little bit fractured. Right, okay. Uh, uh, I know it's a little bit fractured, but this is what I'm saying. The information's so scarce. This is what I've managed to pick up through the information I've got. So please don't hold it against me. Okay, so this is John, and what we do after all of that, what I said, let's just stick to the thing. He's a bully. Guys, a bully. That's who he is. Okay, that's John. Now, so that's Rebecca and John. Now we come up to the third member of the group, which is Jermaine James, who is also 17. So we have the three lads who are 17, and then including Terry. And we have Rebecca, who's 15. All right. Now, Jermaine, I've seen pictures of these three, which you can go ahead and look. But Jermaine is just, the fact that he's 17 was shocking to me. Very, very baby faced lad. But he was also known to the police, just like John. It's just said he was a troubled youth. Now, with Jermaine, unlike the other two, he met Terry the day before what I'm going to tell you. Okay, so on the 18th, so it's a Sunday, on the 18th of July 2004, Rebecca, who, let me just tell you, I'll hold that for a minute. Rebecca got in touch with Terry, and this is on John's kind of say-so, because he wants to have a chat with Terry, does John, and he doesn't think that if he calls him that Terry will want anything to do with him. So you get to Rebecca to do it. And what Rebecca does is, knowing that Terry's got a love of the outdoors and camping and fishing, all that sort of stuff, she invites him to go camping with her and her family, her and her friends. And of course, Terry jumped at it. He jumped at this chance because he thought, new friends? He didn't know John was going. And don't forget, he would have known of John from college. All right. So he's really excited. Really excited. So the four meet up on it would have been Sunday the 18th of July 2004. And they simply meet up to just discuss where they're going to go and what they're going to do. And it's all quite light-hearted. And this would have been the first time that Jermaine would have ever met Terry. Okay. Also, Terry didn't know Jermaine. He'd never met him before. Okay. So let's just keep that in mind. So then we come to Monday, the 19th of July, 2004. All right. Now, bear with me if you're watching tomorrow. Everyone, that's Hannah. Hannah's my friend. Please be nice. Play nice. Okay. So, back to it. So, as I said, Monday, the 19th of July, 2004, they all meet up, okay, and they head to Brookhead Reservoir, Bolsterstone, Sheffield. It's in Bolsterstone, Sheffield. It's like a campground and a lake and all that sort of stuff. That's where they head to have this camping couple of days. Oh, and I just can't imagine how Terry would have felt when they all met in the village to head there. And he sees Rebecca, and then he sees John and Jermaine. Not that day, sorry, when he met up with them. Just as an afterthought, I wonder how he felt seeing them. I wonder how he'd have felt. But to be honest, at that point, Terry wouldn't have known that John had a problem with him, because most people, if you meet a new partner of, let's say, a ex-partner you had that you'd gone out with, that had really been kind of a very light-hearted, d- short relationship, to then meet their new partner as a friend of your friend, like years down the line, a couple of years down the line, I suppose you wouldn't think, and you certainly wouldn't think that this person's gunning for you. You wouldn't. So, right, what they do now, remember, I'm going to say one more time, Terry, who is 17, just like Jermaine, just like John, obviously Rebecca's 15, but the three lads are 17. But don't forget that Terry mentally is around the age of 13. Okay. So, right, when they head off and they get to the campground and everything else, they get there, and what it is where they've arranged to go camping. It's quite near where Rebecca and John actually live. They don't live together, but they live nearby. And it says that from this, they would have known just how isolated this place was. Okay, this place they were going camping, which he was so excited about. So they're there, and they're there for a couple of hours. They set up their tents and everything else, and set up their tents and everything else. And they're there, and for a little bit, and it says that an argument broke out between Terry and John. All right. Now, it's thought that the argument would have been a bit of well, of course, a shock to Terry, but it would have been John hounding him over the fact that he'd had this very innocent relationship with John's now girlfriend, and he would have been going at Terry. Wow. The thing with Terry wasn't exactly a pushover, very innocent, very kind, but it was said that he was giving back as good as he got verbally to John. And John didn't like this. John didn't like this at all. I think it came as a shock to them that how dare this lad try and defend himself? How dare that happen? Okay. So, we believe the original plan was to basically pick on, bully, humiliate Terry. That would have been the original plan of this camping trip, right? But because Terry in verbally fought back against John didn't know what to do with himself. He couldn't believe how dare this lad who he feels is beneath him dare say anything back to him. So John storms off, quickly followed by Rebecca and by Jermaine, and they leave the campground. And where they actually go is back to John's. And when they get back there, John's getting rolled up. Back at his house, and he's like, they then start drinking. The three of them do. It's said that there was possibly ecstasy pills between the three of them. And while they're there, John's getting more and more riled. And, I want to kill him. Well, Rebecca, little something about Rebecca. Rebecca also, previous to this, had said basically she'd like to know what it would feel like to kill somebody. This was nothing to do with Terry. This was just this girl who who thought that was something that sounded like fun to her. Okay. So when John and they're back at the house, pack mentality starts to kick in. And when he's saying, I want to kill him, she jumps in and she's like, yeah, let's do it. Let's go. Even though it said that John was the ringleader of this little threesome, she was very on board. And now Jermaine, the reason I mentioned it earlier, do you remember I says he only met Terry the day before. He must have realised that this lad was innocent and kind. I would imagine, I know it's only been 24 hours, but you would get the gist that this wasn't anyone who would harm them or who would deserve any wrongdoing to him. But no, Jermaine, with the pack mentality going, now they're all like, yeah, let's get him, let's go and do him in. Okay. So they're heading back to the campground, and for some reason, we don't know why, we don't know how it happened, but we do know John's a petty theft. They break in to a church shed, okay, St. Mary's Church apparently, and they break in there. And when they break into this shed, there are two scythes, Grim Reaper scythes. You know, them things that would you would freeze if one was being used to threaten you. Well, there was two of them in this church shed, and they were like, yeah, let's get them. So the fact that they only got these weapons then, and purely by chance at breaking into this shed, they didn't know what was in the shed. It was said that maybe, although John had been giving it loads, Rebecca had been giving it loads, don't forget they've been drinking, they were doing drugs. It was said that maybe, and there's no benefit of the doubt here I'm giving, but they weren't intending on doing what I'm going to tell you they did, all right? But they certainly were going to hurt Terry, but would they have done what I'm about to tell you they did? We don't know, okay? But they've got these sides now, and off they trudge back to the campground. Well, Terry, I just wish she'd have just packed up and gone home. Oh, I really do. I mean, they didn't get to the campground till about 5 p.m, it said. And obviously, when the argument happened, they left. There's not exact time frames on it. Maybe he was just tired. Maybe he thought, I'll leave in the morning. I don't know. But when the three got back to the campground, Terry was asleep. He was in his tent. Okay. So seeing he was asleep, they undone his tent. He was just there. All he had on was his boxer shorts. That was it. He'd gone to sleep. And they dragged him out by his feet. And then just Terry's nightmare began. So, first of all, they began by kicking him. And I will say this wasn't individual, this was all three. When I say pack mentality, I mean pack mentality. They were animals. Oh, I keep saying animals, don't I? And every time I say I'm not going to say it again, monsters, just vile cretins. So they all start kicking, punching, stamping on this poor lad who's been woken out of his sleep. So he's on the ground, and the three of them just laying to him. Okay. And then what they did, they were like, right, go, leave. and they let him leave. They let him run. Not too far, though, because then they would chase him down and drag him back and continue beating him. And then for the second time, go on then, we'll let you go, you've had enough. And they let him leave, and then they chase him down again and beat him again. And by the third time, they were letting him go, which we know they weren't, but by the time they were letting him go, he was so badly injured by that point, he was crawling away. He was crawling, trying to get away from these vile, I can't even call them humans. And then they were, no, like I say, remember I said he only had his shorts on, he had no shoes. So, of course, when he's running, it was all against him. Then they grabbed the scythes, which they'd actually hidden when they'd come back to the campground. They'd hidden them behind one of the other tents. So then they got the scythes. And this is what I mean. We don't know if originally it was we know they wanted to hurt Terry. Okay, like I said, there's no benefit the doubt, full stop. Please don't think that's what I'm saying. But they didn't originally come to that campground with any weapons whatsoever. Nothing. And then coming back to the campground, they were messing about and broke into that church shed and came across those scythes. So whether they intended to do what they're about to do or not is neither here nor there, really. I'm just want to point out everything I found out. So they grabbed the scythes. Now John, the ringleader, he has his very own scythe. He gets his very own one. And the other two share the other one. They alternate. And they just bring down these scythes on him over and over again, mainly on his head. So he had a lot of skull fractures from the scythe itself, from the scythes itself. It was said that from trying to protect himself, these are scythes, remember, they're so sharp. From putting his hands up to protect himself, his hands were just torn to shreds. You know, I think it was his thumb was barely still on, just from trying to protect himself. He was hitting so hard in the face with one. His teeth were actually knocked through and were later found in his stomach. So they continued to keep bringing him down on his head. There were slashes all over his body from these scythes. Like I say, there was one just using it constantly, and the other two taking it in turns. My go. His jaw was broken so badly it hung open. And one of the scythes was actually broken from the force of hitting him. Just awful. Then they put a plastic bag over his head, okay, and hoping that would kill him. And it didn't. It didn't. He was still alive. I don't know how, but he was. So then they just continued to kick and stamp on this he's a boy, remember, on this boy's head over and over and over again. And then eventually, when he still hadn't died, with the other scythe that they hadn't broken on him, it was embedded into his neck. And then they threw him in a ditch with the scythe still in his neck. Now, the autopsy on him had said that he had more than 60 wounds on him, open wounds on him, obviously bruises and everything else, but the wounds themselves, he had 60 on him. And they were that bad that they couldn't tell which injury had actually killed him, because any one of them at some point could have. They couldn't pinpoint exactly when he died and which injury had done it. And then, well, after they threw him in a ditch, threw him away. After they did that, the three of them, they go to Rebecca's, because you remember they'd been to John's previously while he was losing his head and I'm going to do this. So then after they've done this, now there's one thing I'll say about Rebecca, and it's not confirmed, so I'll just say allegedly. I've seen it a couple of times, but I haven't seen it enough to say it's a definite. But it's been said that going back from the campground back to Rebecca's house, she wore his shoes. She stole Terry's trainers and wore them back to her house. There's just no words. So then they get back, and when they get back to Rebecca's house, apparently they're practically celebrating. They're so proud of themselves. They're celebrating. And so they just start drinking and having a whale of a time. And then the three of them fall asleep. And when they wake up, Rebecca's mom, who obviously, you know, she wouldn't have known what had happened, but it's just sickening to think of, made them all bacon sandwiches. And they all sat there in the morning, the three of them, well, they're eating the bacon sandwiches, discussing what they'd done to this poor boy the night before. No remorse. None. No remorse. Awful. Okay. So we get to the 20th of July, 2004. Okay. The next day. And a farmer happened to come across Terry. Can you imagine? Oh, could you imagine being that farmer? So, of course, he phones the police and the police come out. Well, these clever souls that they were, of course, they'd left the scythe in Terry's neck. I don't know if it's stupidity, arrogance, naivety. I don't know what they thought would happen. But of course, there's fingerprints on the scythe. You know, I don't understand what they obviously, it's that teenage impulse, isn't it, where there's no thought of consequences. We've come across teenagers before who've done horrific crimes, and there's just no forward thinking, is that, of what could possibly happen. So the police actually say that the injuries that were found on Terry were the worst they'd ever seen. Worst they'd ever seen. So the police actually picked up the three really quickly. Within 3 days. Within 3 days, they picked up these three. Within 3 days of it happening. So on the 22nd of July, they were picked up because they were the last ones seen with him. This wasn't a busy city where perhaps you could walk past people that wouldn't notice you. These are close villages where everyone knows everyone practically. So they were the last ones that were seen with Terry. So they were brought in straight away. And although, of course, they're denying it, when they took their fingerprints, I think they already had John's. When they took their fingerprints, Of course there's a match. So, like I say, 22nd of July 2004, the three are charged with murder. And they are remanded at that point. All right. So, we come to January 2005. Now, what happened was, eventually, all three plead guilty to Terry's murder. But apparently, it was only Rebecca and, what's the other fella's name? Jermaine, who had pled guilty. John had tried to fight it. He'd actually tried to fight it, but Rebecca had made it clear that she would testify against him. It was said that maybe they had slight remorse. I think possibly Rebecca and Jermaine maybe had a couple more brain cells, maybe one more brain cell than John had, and thought, well, if they've got our fingerprints, what's the point in lying? We're going to get more time, so I'm not going to lie. And then she's happy to testify against John. You know, so was it that, or was it they knew the fingerprints? Was it remorse? We don't know. But when he realised that Rebecca was going to testify against him, he pled guilty too. All right. So we get to March 2005, and are you ready? Are you ready? Now, I've just told you what they did to this boy. This boy who, from his birth date, was the same age as the two other lads there, but mentally, he was 2 years younger than she was. All right? This is the sentences they got. Are you ready? Rebecca, she got a life sentence. You might think, oh, UK? Could you be surprising us? No! She got a 13-year minimum. Jermaine, life sentence. No, 13-year minimum. John, life sentence as well. Might be excited. No, 15-year minimum. I mean, they can all go on and have families, have lives. It's horrific. I was just mortified when I found out this was the time they got. Now, there was no actual motive ever put across because, of course, they pled guilty, so there was no trial to try and get to the bottom of it. She didn't need to testify. So what we know of this case is really what got said between them and what the evidence says. So there's still, like I say, there's a lot missing that perhaps we don't know. But to be honest, given how thick they all appeared, I just don't think there was possibly more than that. I can't even give them that I don't know what words I'd use there, but I genuinely believe it was as stupid as I've said. That it was purely because Terry used to go out with John's current girlfriend. Now, was the short sentences because of their age, because of this rehabilitation? To me, my mind frame in these circumstances is, at those ages, you know right from wrong. Are you impulsive? Do you think about circumstances and consequences? No, not so much, not at that age. But you know right from wrong. So this rehabilitation thing always gets me because in another way, because it's like, if you could do that at that age, what are you capable of, in another 10 years, another 20 years? What are you capable? And you might be like, well, that could be the rehabilitation thing while they're inside. And I just don't know. I think there's a lot put on rehabilitation, and I think some can be. I'm not against it wholeheartedly. I don't mean that. But when it's a crime like this, I don't know. Now, the reason as well, I believe that everything's so scarce because if you're working out the years, technically, she should have got out in 2016, Jermaine 16, 17, and John 2019. So technically, they would, I mean, they should all be out now, but we don't know. So did they all get new IDs? Why do we not know if they've got out? Why is there no information showing if these monsters got out? I don't know. So, but in 2011, in case you're thinking, well, maybe they were good and maybe they were quiet and maybe they just got on with things and just took their sentences on the chin and have been released and are just living under the radar. Maybe. But in 2011, Rebecca Peters had the audacity to actually appeal her sentence. And she got 10 months off. And that's why I said she would have been 2016, whereas Jermaine would have possibly been 2017, even though they got the same time originally. 10 months off her sentence. And it was said that the judge who gave that time off said that the girl who'd gone in there at 15 was not the same girl that was taught that they were looking at now at 22. She was remorseful and she was basically a model prisoner. And I don't know about that, but he gave her 10 months off. Do you know what I do know? I do. I'm not buying it. I'm not. Had she been there, had she just been there and witnessed it, not done anything, would have been disgusting as well. The fact that she's witnessed it, not helping him, not doing it, but she wasn't. From what I've seen, all three of them were equally involved, although John is said to have been, let's say, pack leader and encouraging it on, but I don't think they needed much encouragement, if I'm honest. Poor Terry's family are obviously devastated. His brother Richard, he had a foster brother, Richard, who has been in a hospital with mental health issues since this happened. His parents have never got past it. Not just the fact that he died, how he died, why he died, if that was the reason. Just awful, just absolutely disgraceful case. Now, what I was mentioning earlier with regards to the film Cruel Summer, in that there's a different motive that's put forward. There's a different motive that was put through for who would be, I presume, Jermaine in the film. The character in there, obviously they're different names and everything else, but it's the third member. And they put a kind of a justification to him, to us as the viewer, as to why he would have got involved. And even though we as the viewer know that the character who's, I presume, playing John and the character who's playing Rebecca, who they make out to be just a dippy, doesn't want to be part of it, does want to be part of it kind of character. But there's another kind of thing that was put forward that there's nothing to say that ever happened, that Jermaine never even had that excuse that was given in the film. Now, the film's very graphic. It is very graphic. And besides a few things that you could look at and be like, hang on a minute, for the most part, it's very, very, very similar to what I've just told you, even though apparently the director was saying, no, it's not based on that. And I don't know why that had been said. So I'm a bit confused by that. But yeah, I'd definitely say if you wanted to and you feel like you could, that's the name of the film, Cruel Summer. Very, very sad and very graphic. Now, there was one other thing I wanted to tell you, which I found very odd. Now, I don't know this group, okay? I've written it down. I don't know the name of this group. They are called Bring Me to the Horizons. Has anyone heard of that band? I've never heard of them. But apparently, they did a song called Don't Go. All right? Now, the lead singer of Bring Me to the Horizons is called Ollie Sykes. Oh, what's this got to do with anything? Well, Ollie Sykes, the lead singer of this band, is the cousin of John Sorden. Apparently. Okay, boy. So, let me read you, all right, a verse from Don't Go, whose lead singer, remember, is the cousin. I've written apparently, but everywhere I've seen it does say it's his cousin, but I'll say apparently just for the video. Cousin of John Sorden. Are you ready? The kid, I can't sing, I wouldn't sing it obviously, but this is how it goes. The kid back in school, subdued and shy, an orphan and a brother, and unseen by most eyes. I don't know what it was that made a piece of him die. Took a boy to the forest, slaughtered him with a scythe, stomped on his face, an impression in the dirt. Do you think the silence makes a good man convert? Is that not the sickest thing you've ever heard? Is that not odd? That the cousin of the ringleader is in a band and has made a verse of one of their songs, apparently a very popular song. Like I say, I don't know this band, but made a verse based on what his cousin did to this boy. I wrote it all down because I was just Warwick. I was just gobsmacked. I was absolutely gobsmacked when I seen it. I was just like, what is wrong? What is wrong with people that you've released a song? I just found it awful. I just found it in such bad taste. I found it, you know, what is it? Because it's his cousin. It's sent the song to him in prison or something. Like, hey, cuz, got your back. I mean, what was the mentality when he wrote the song? I just don't understand. I'd be curious. I'd be curious to know why. And I've looked quite a lot today, because it was only today I found out about the song. I knew obviously about the story a long time and I got it ready. But the song itself, I just came across and I was like, wow, really? Really? And then I obviously wanted to look a bit more into it because I didn't want to say if it wasn't. But yeah, everywhere I've looked, them lyrics are based on what happened to him. I just thought, you disgusting. You know, like cousin, I. Just saying. Just saying. So, that was the brutal and cruel Terry Hurst story. And it's, like I say, it's the film Cruel Summer, I will say, is very, very closely based on it, even though the director said, no, it's not. I've told you the story. If you do go and watch it, you tell me, has that film got nothing to do with what I've just told you? And like I say, the film's very graphic. Very, very graphic. So, yeah, that was the Terry Hurst story. Awful. Awful, wasn't it? How are we all? Oh, and Warwick, you nearly 3 times. 3 times you nearly got me, I tell you. And you know what? I can fight for some reason. Warwick's comments zoning, and it was the Fiddler's Creek. Fiddler's Creek just really how I didn't go on that one. How you didn't get me. Did he get you as well? Just awful, isn't he? Really, really got me. Let me oh, thank you. I do, Phil. I do. And I do think of you when I come across these stories. I do think of you. I also think of someone very close to my own heart. And I've got to admit, when I originally heard of the film and saw the trailer, I couldn't watch it. I honestly couldn't watch it. And I've watched some vile things, but it wasn't the it wasn't so much did I get in my face, give it away. I knew it was. I knew it would. It just stops me in my tracks. Just completely stopped me in my tracks. I think it's because I want to laugh, but obviously I can't at that point, so I have to wait until the end. But yes, Phil, when I heard of the film, I did hold it, I managed to. When I heard of it and watched the trailer, it was so close to home, I couldn't watch it at the time. And then I think a little bit later, probably about a year later, I thought, it's a film. Come on, let's watch it. And then when I realised just how much it was based on this lad's story, yeah, it was devastating. It was devastating. So again, kind of why I didn't want to do it at first, very close to home. But then now I want to do it for different. I want to do it for the opposite reason. Now I do want to get that information out there. So I do think of you, Phil, when I do these stories and just getting it out there that maybe just keep an eye out for people that you think might need a friend, but a decent friend that's not going to take advantage or bully or humiliate or just be horrible. Because it just seems the more I'm doing these stories, the more I'm coming across them. And it's not, I'm not looking for them. I'm not trying to find these stories. I am coming across them. And that's what's heartbreaking because it's like they're so common. And I think that's really upsetting that as a society where it's all this be kind to everyone. So you ever hear be kind. And it's like, but we're not being kind. We're not being kind to the most vulnerable people in our societies. Because when we're talking about be kind, we're talking about like be kind to celebrities and be kind to singers and stuff like that. It's like, no, let's be kind to the most vulnerable people in society. Let's be kind to the babies. Let's be kind to the older people. Let's be kind to the vulnerable. Just things like it just irritates me when I hear, this mantra of let's be kind, but it's not, we're not saying it about the people that need kindness. That's all. I just get very irritated over the whole thing. Yeah, I am, and that's why I do it, Phil. That is why I do it. And and especially this case, because it's so limited what's out there. And like I say, and I think I mentioned it at the beginning, I think it's because maybe they have been given new identities and that's why they've covered everything's been locked out. I don't know. I don't know why that. But when I looked back at the like newspaper clippings and things for when it happened in 2014, exactly, Natalie. That's what I mean. There's so many of them. And when I look back at the newspaper clippings in 2014, they were saying they were his friends, but they weren't. They weren't his friends. They weren't even pretending to be his friends, really. I bet, to be honest, I bet the only reason he actually went was because maybe he trusted Rebecca and he really wanted to go camping, and maybe obviously, we know that, some people on the spectrum can't judge people very well. They don't judge social situations very well. He probably couldn't tell that John had a hatred for him. He probably couldn't even see that coming. He would never have known. He wouldn't have realised. So that's heartbreaking. He wouldn't have even seen that coming. He would have had no idea where it was coming and why these people were doing it to him. And I think that's what upsets me about these stories. It really does. But yeah, it's very, very sad. Very, very sad. What are you on about? What's Warwick on about? Where is he? Oh, the Fiddler's Quake was just a killer. Thought he was the cousin of the victim. No, cousin of the main ringleader. Cousin of the main ringleader, Warwick. That's whose cousin he was. Yeah, that's what I mean. Just can't. That's why, Hayley, that's why I struggled to watch the film. I really struggled. I was like, bit too close to home, this one. I might give this one a pass. And then eventually I was like, come on, let's watch it. And yeah, it's as bad as you think. It's as upsetting as you think. That's the thing. He'd have had no idea, Phil. None. He would have had no idea what was happening to him. He wouldn't have had a clue. Because he wouldn't have been able to read it. That's the problem. He wouldn't have sensed it. He wouldn't have read that coming. And just awful, heartbreaking. And Warwick, what did you get me on? You got me on Fiddler's Creek, and there was there was another one where he really threw me, and I think my face did give it away. What was the one? What had you said now, Warwick? What was it now? There was some Warwick said earlier, and honestly, absolutely caught me. Yeah, that was it. That was it there. And I can't say what you said. Warwick. That was, yeah, that was the third one. That wasn't the one I was just reading. Oh, God. Oh, dear. Oh, it's so hard because I want to laugh. I genuinely do. Because I know it's coming for, I know it's coming for lighting in the mood and everything else. But of course, people watching tomorrow aren't going to get it. They're going to be like, what's she doing? What's she like? So I can't tell you why. But one thing, I managed to keep my lamp intact. I watched it back. I actually watched the other nights back. And I don't know if anyone noticed, because I noticed there wasn't many comments after I did it. Did you actually see me bust my lamp the other night? That I was really impressed at that. I just pulled it back that quick. I was really impressed by that. Because one, I thought it had just fell. And then when I watched it back, it was my hands. And then, yeah, I just carried on. I was quite impressed with myself. I was like, oh my God. I didn't see that coming. So, and I haven't fixed it still. I haven't fixed it. It's really warm again, isn't it? Yeah, I am. I'm all hands. I talk in my hands. He's not just a stalker then. No. Is that who he is? Is that who you were saying was stalker? That's so funny. Well, do you know, I can't help it, and I get really told off about my hands. I get really told. The amount of people I've hit in my daily life talking, my kids get it all the time. My kids have to duck. If I'm really on a roll, talking to somebody else, I'm not even talking to them. If I'm on a roll, they have to be so careful. They really do. So yes, that fear is justified, Sharon. It really is. It genuinely is, because they've just got a mind of their own. And I wonder why my arm's still bad. I wonder why it's still bad. What I was going to say. Yes, remember I said I've got my little girl's communion, and I wasn't sure if her dress was going to come. Well, it's come. It's here, and she looks like a little angel. She really does. So that Saturday, I will be venturing up to the Skegness. on Saturday, which is you're going to have to wear armour. You're going to have to. And what I might do is if the ladies that are the Peacock and Hayley, yes, nearly jingle time. I'm nearly there. Nearly there, Phil. Yes, if they don't mind me putting a photo up, I may put a photo on the main YouTube page so you can actually know who you're talking to. Yeah, and you can see my little girl because she's going to look like a little angel. So I'll speak to them and see if they mind, or I'll just put a picture up of my little girl so you can see what I've been rambling about for the past however long. But yes, so if you are watching tomorrow or today, why do we always get to this point and it always doesn't work? If you're watching tomorrow, if you'd like to join Patreon, patreon.com/JessRose5472, or you could just like, comment, subscribe, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. Like, comment, subscribe, guys, please. I'd really appreciate it. Please, I haven't got the buy-in today. Like, comment, subscribe, guys. Oh, do you know what? Yes, I am. I'm going to put a couple up on Patreon, but like just one I might put on the main page. Just for Warwick and Phil, so they can see. And then I might put a few up on the Patreon. And then yeah, like, comment, subscribe, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. It is so angry. There's just not. Do you know what? And it's not intentional. It comes out. This is the reason I can't sing at the weekend, because it's like, comment, subscribe, guys. What I was gonna say, I just threw myself off. Thursday. I think I know what one I'm bringing to you Thursday. I'm obviously with you all next week, and then the week after, I'm off on my jollies. So excited! I'll be all like a bronzed Adonis. Is it Adonis? No, that's a man, isn't it? Oh, thank you, Sharon. It is, and you can stalk to your heart's content in there, Warwick, if you wanted to. You could stalk to your heart's content. Is it bronzed Adonis? Is that a man? All right, bronze goddess. I'll be a bronze goddess when I get back. You're not going to know me. I'm just going to be here like with grapes right here. I might get one of my kids just to hold grapes and a fan. Just going to look amazing. Do you know, I'm just going to burn Anna. But I'm very excited. I'm really excited. So happy. And yes, I will. That's what I'm going to be, like a bronze goddess. Just here. Just there like that. So, but yes, so I'll be here. Aphrodite. That's who I'm going to be. Is it Katy Perry who sang that? I'm going to be Katy Perry's Aphrodite. That's who I'm going to be. Just here, fanning myself. I'm just going to end up with my own hands, just fanning myself. But at least I'll be nice and proud. I'm only there for a week. I don't think miracles are going to be done in that week. So maybe I'll be slightly less crab stick. Maybe. That's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping. Who's Kylie? Kylie sang Aphrodite, did she? It's called Cruel Summer. Yes, I question myself then. Cruel Summer, Cruel Summer. Yes. You can watch the trailer first if you want to, just to give you like a little bit of a, an inkling as to what you're about to see, because hearing what I'm putting across to you, very different to seeing it. But don't say I didn't warn you. Don't say I didn't warn you. Warwick's gone quiet. Where's he gone? Where did he go? Oh, no, he did. He said Aphrodite, didn't he? What is that a song? It's Katy Perry, isn't it? Is it? Have I made that up? I'm sure it is, but that's who I'm going to be. Cruel Summer's a Bananarama song. Yes, it is. And do you know where I know it from? Karate Kid. One of my favourite films. So, yeah, it's in there when he's on his bike to the school. And then you get to see the crush of my life, which was Johnny in Karate Kid. I was a big fan of Johnny, which it didn't say much for me as a kid, did it? That I was fascinated with the school bully. It wasn't good. It wasn't a good look. But yes, I was like him and Bobby. Oh God, I'm really showing my age now. Yeah, I was a big fan of all the bullies. It was just not a good look. Ah, so that's who I am then, Warwick. That's who I'm going to be, Aphrodite, in the corner. Sing, look, just, oh, yes, this is who I am. I'm not. I don't know why I keep saying it. I'm not. It's just going to be terrible. You know what? You know what's going to happen? I'm going to come back and on my first live, you're all going to be like, did you not go? Did you not end up going? Is something wrong? That's what's going to happen. None of you are going to even think I went because I'm going to still be that pale. Oh, see, you're a fan of Miyagi. See, it's my favourite film. I know. No, I tell you when I tan, sis, I tan if I can build up over a long period of time. But what will happen is if I don't see any real sun between now and then, and it's only 2 weeks away, then I'm going to burn for the first 4 days, peel for 2, and then I might get a little bit on the last day, but that's going to be it. I know, Tiffany, bless her, she like my mum. Yeah, she's just not one for the sun. But you know what? It's probably a good thing because it does age her. It does. I've noticed that. When do we meet? Worry. Bananarama was nice. I liked because there was 3 of them, wasn't there? And then didn't they get a new member? And I can't remember if I liked them with the new member or didn't. But I do remember Bananarama. They were all right, they were. They got a lot of stick. I thought they were all right. I didn't mind Bananarama. They were quite good. I am even though I was young in the 80s, I'm very much I loved it. And the funny thing is, apparently in the 80s, it was said that at that time, that it was the worst decade for music. Then when we got to the 90s and 2000s, we actually realised that's it. Yes. Was she the new member? Yeah, I think when we got to the 90s, I think we realised just how good the music was in the 80s. We just didn't realise it at the time. There's some shocking ones. I can't say it was all great. There was some shocking ones that I hadn't even heard of. I was listening to an 80s album once. I was like, what is this? But for the most part, they were good. Yes, she did. You're right, Sharon. Yes, she did. Your God, yous are good. As your original member. Oh, yous are very good. Yes. And I like them as well. To tell you a little secret, Tiffany, when she was very, very, very little, used to dance to that. Well, she used to do the long-haired one. You better hope. Tiffany used to do that when she was very little. I don't even know if she remembers that, but Tiffany used to do that. It was quite funny. It was very funny. She used to pull her hair down and everything. Very funny. Very creepy, but very funny. Yeah. She was one of them. She's like my daughter. She's like, say who my daughter's like, Samara off The Ring. Yeah, that's what I have to wake up to quite often. It's very scary. Oh, bless Tiff, she can't remember. She's still. See if I want to reply on Saturday. Should we put it up for her? Oh, was she? I like the Eurythmics as well. They were ace, weren't she? Is it Annie Lennox? Well, no, it was Annie Lennox. I know it was, but they were good too. Do you know who I really liked? God, I'm keeping you all ages now, but do you know who I really liked? I think it's the Annie Lennox thing. Roxette. It was Roxette, wasn't it? I really liked them. But saying that, I didn't like their most popular one. The one from Pretty Woman. I didn't actually like that one. But all their others, I really liked Roxette. I thought they were really good. I'm so showing my age so badly at the minute. Not 100%. Where am I? What? Oh, okay, right. Yeah, I didn't. I vaguely remember seeing him more, obviously Annie Lennox, but yeah, Roxette was it? Weren't they Swedish, something like that? But I thought they were fab. I really like them. God, I'm showing my age. Right then, I'm gonna let you all go. And I'll be back on Sunday. No, I won't. No, I won't. I won't be back on Sunday at all. Do you see the face I was just about to pull? Honestly, sometimes. Um, Thursday. I'll be back Thursday. To do. I'll announce it obviously earlier on. Too sure. I've got two. I've got two that I'm thinking of doing for you. I've got a real feeling you've probably heard of both though. So leave that with me. And yeah, if you are still watching tomorrow, which I can't believe for a second that anyone is, but if you are, thank you. Why aren't you in the live with us, joining this lovely bunch here because they're fab? Yeah, or like, comment, and subscribe, please. Like, comment, and subscribe, guys. And thank you to, right, let's see if I can get through without missing anyone because I hate that. Thank you to Sharon and Hayley and my peacock, Warwick and Phil, Natalie, I've seen. That's it, isn't it? Did I get everyone? Did I get? I'm sure I have, haven't I? Watch, I've missed someone really obvious that I've spoke to. I think that's everyone, isn't it? I think it is, yes. But Hannah, did she stay long, Hannah? Hannah, are you still there? Did she come and go? I haven't seen anything from Hannah since. If you're still there, Hannah, thank you so much. And I will see you soon. Me and Hannah were supposed to meet on Friday, and we both forgot. So we're both as bad as each other. Yeah, I'm a terrible friend. Everyone knows that. She knows that. So it's fine. We will meet up again soon. So it's fine. So yes, that's it for tonight. But thank you all so much again, and appreciate it so much. And I will see you all Thursday. What's this? What is this? Like, comment, subscribe, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Good night, everyone. See you Thursday.